Hi guys, what's going on? My name is Jamie, as always your happy and humble host, and today we need to talk about Mason Greenwood. Just before we start talking about Mason Greenwood, I want to make sure everybody knows that these thoughts and opinions are my own. My co-host Liam does not want to be involved in this, which is absolutely fair enough, and this is my opinion as a Manchester United fan and as a football fan on the paradox of Mason Greenwood. Before I even start, I do not want to endorse these allegations in any way, shape or form. I personally have never been involved in anything of this magnitude, and I want to look at it from a more balanced point of view rather than pile in and concentrate on one side of the story. For those who don't know, Mason Greenwood was a breakout star for Manchester United. In the 1920 season he played 31 times, scoring 10 goals as well as 9 Europa League goals and 2 in the FA Cup and EFL Trophy. In 2021, May scored 12 goals and managed 6 assists in 52 games, and as a graduate of the Man United Academy since he was 6 years old, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave this young talent a starting role in a devastating front line which consisted of our then fit Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford, whose front line outscored a rampant Liverpool trio of Bobby Firmino, Salah and Mane that season. The world was at this young man's feet, and then he got a call up to the England team. Mason was versatile, a good man up front, but also a threat from the right hand side. With a keen eye for goal, youth and talent, this latest United starlet was destined for greatness. However, in the middle of the pandemic, Mace was sent home from England training with Phil Foden for allegedly breaking COVID-19 rules by meeting up with local girls, and a move that ultimately infuriated the England manager, Gareth Southgate, and slapped them both with fines and cost them their England places. Foden would then manage to get back into the squad, but Mace was most definitely out. Without going into every detail about the next incident, as it's been done to death by a multitude of YouTube videos and media, Mason Greenwood's then now current girlfriend accused the footballer of GBH, ABH and the R word. Videos and images were circulated online of alleged physical abuse, verbal abuse, and one video had Mason acting like a petulant child when trying to engage with sexual intercourse with Harriet Robson, to which he replies a multitude of times, no. In January 2022, Mason Greenwood was then arrested by Greater Manchester Police, and in October of the same year, he was charged with those allegations that historically began in 2018. Roll forward to February 2023, and Mason Greenwood has now been found innocent. All charges are dropped and a key witness refused to give evidence. This raised many questions, but again in the court of public opinion, Greenwood has remained guilty, while legally he's deemed innocent. However, the story doesn't end here, and while under bail conditions, Mason Greenwood had an injunction against him, meaning he couldn't physically be in contact with Harriet. This, as it turns out, couldn't be any further from the truth, as the news broke that the couple had reconciled and Mason Greenwood was then going to become a dad. 11th of the 7th, 2023, and Mason's took to Instagram to show a picture of his newborn's hand along with him and Harriet with a caption of the day the child was born. This then begs the question, what's happened and what happens from here? And this is where I think it's more important to stress that while I don't agree with any of the alleged allegations, I think people need to step back and look at the picture as a whole, rather than being selective in what has happened and what the future holds for the player, his family and his football. In simple terms, and my opinion, is Mace acted like a complete and utter prick. He was filmed acting like a prick in a clearly toxic relationship which led him to being filmed behind closed doors. Police got involved, the case fell apart, and because Harriet got pregnant, Mason was deemed innocent. And now the couple seem to be trying to move on from all this with their new addition. So what do we do now? He was suspended by the football club. This club has been his life since he was 6. Brands and sponsorships are pulled away from him, and his career seems to be in tatters. Social media has taken up arms to continue to attack the young striker, and it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. However, in my opinion, this could be a catalyst for change. For not just Mason Greenwood, but for all of football. For the longest time now, football has been involved with incidents and the law. From heroes such as Diego Maradona to Cantona, to recently Benjamin Mendy, Ryan Giggs, Ched Evans, Marlon King, Troy Deeney, George Best, etc., there's always been a toxic culture that is seemingly nurtured within the sport. They're heroes on the pitch, but it seems like they're demons off it. What there isn't a lot of is redemption. Fans just accept players do this and go with it. Stan Collymore, Marco Alonso, Tony Adams, Joey Barton, Paul Merson, all players again with dodgy pasts, have all gone on to manage, be pundits, and or have continued to play. The trouble is how do you integrate Mace back into football and make it seem like it's genuine rather than damage control? If you send him out on loan, the club have failed him. Yes, he's out the spotlight, but the club will be seen as brushing him off until the time has passed and will just stir up the fan base even more if United decide he was to come back. If the club keep him, the brand is attacked, and if you cancel his contract, he becomes somebody else's problem, which will both have negative connotations for the brand, the club, mainly because rather than find a solution, they've wiped their hands of him, and he is an innocent man by law, who's just become a new dad and is also a product of our academy. Like I said, these opinions are all my opinions, and this is what I feel on the situation. I think it's time to move on. Second chances are rare, but we all hope that if we were ever in a position to right our wrongs, we'd probably take them. The hard work doesn't need to be done by the fans. It doesn't need to be done by the media. It doesn't need to be done by me. It doesn't need to be done by you. But the hard work needs to be done by Mace. He needs to be better. He needs to be a better man, a better role model, and now, being a dad, a better person. From my own experience of being a dad and being in relationships that have spiraled sometimes, it's easy to fall into this trap. My kids have made me immeasurably a better person and a better man, and this has not only benefited myself, but has also benefited others around me. I'm a role model, a hero to my children, and I have my own issues at times, but it's my behaviours that dictate my examples and the examples that I need to set for my children. This could be the making of him. A redemption of a young player that learned from his mistakes to better his situation, highlight the stigma of abuse and help eradicate it from the game by setting examples to other young players. The issue with today's culture is that it's easy to cancel and it's easy to attack people. It's easy to take people's misgivings and forever brand them as that person. You forever put that person in a box. You do not allow them to grow and learn, and especially at such a young age, you stunt their ability to mature and reflect. I wouldn't be happy if Mason was put right back into the team. I wouldn't be happy if he didn't show genuine remorse for his alleged actions, if he didn't do the work with the fans, and he didn't support charities and groups that raise awareness to this, and didn't take the chance with both hands to be better. And honestly, that's my whole take from this. He won't sell shirts, he wouldn't be the face of branding, but you know what, Mace, that has to be okay. You have to be ready to earn and deserve the trust of the fans. You have to ignore the noise that is easy to destroy you, have enough support around you from your friends, your true friends, and your family to try and write this out. Mace stands on a cliff edge, one that he can easily fall off of. He could be another foul wonder kid that was thrown to the wolves because of his own actions. This video hasn't been created for clicks, and it hasn't been created to highlight any of his actions in a positive light. But it's been created to find some sort of element of hope in the disaster and the mess that has been the last 2 years. The ball is now in your court, Manchester United. And you, Mace. One word of advice: be better.